Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. Thanks so much for joining me, checking out the video game industry in an entirely new way. We last left off with 1981, and we looked at Analog Computing, issue number 4, where they told us in a preview that Pac-Man's coming for the Atari VCS, and we're so excited to see what Pac-Man's going to be like on the Atari home console in 1981. All right, so let's move on to our next game. After that, we come to the Apple II. This is Chronicles of Osgorth, the Shattered Alliance, which is an SSI game, Strategic Simulations Incorporated. So this is going to be most likely epic and strategic like we've seen before. Let's take a look at the artwork for the Shattered Alliance. There's the front of the box. Yes, by SSI. We've seen a lot of really good strategy games, complex strategy games from SSI, and back of the box, looks like they're going full-on tactical role-playing game of swords and sorcery on some far-flung fantasy world. Here is your Pegasus to carry you to Osgorth, the foreign land of fantasy and adventure we've created just for you. Osgorth. They could have thought of a better name than that. The Wonder World, replete with spells of sorcerers and clashing of swords that give voice to the fierce battles between rival kingdoms among exotic creatures. Conflict abounds when humankind, elves, dwarves, lizardmen, unicorns, and other wondrous beings amass under your command to seek glory and conquest. This looks epic. And SSI already does pretty epic work with strategy and tactical games, but role-playing fantasy, this is the first one we've seen by SSI. So it looks like Shattered Alliance is the first line in forthcoming games from SSI that comprise the Chronicles of Osgorth. So this is our first time for all you Chronicles of Osgorth fans out there. Here it is, the first one. And let's see what other artwork we got. There is the 5 1/4 floppy disk for the Shattered Alliance. You never thought your computer could be this exciting. That's a good tagline for SSI. I like it. And from screenshots, yep, it looks like they're doing a hex base grid for the tactical strategy. Let's take a look at the manual for the Chronicles of Osgorth. Well, if it takes a while to load, then that means it's usually a really big one. All right, so there we go. Oh, nice. They're going the full-on Dungeons and Dragons trope, and this is kind of cool. It's a preview for SSI because they're eventually going to have the gold box, famously gold box games of Dungeons and Dragons or Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. And this one's not without no license for it. They made up their own with Osgorth. So this is the rule book and historical background. Oh man, yeah, if you can see how many pages this is an epic manual. So we're not going to be going through the entirety of it, but if you look at the table of contents, this is just for, or it looks like this is for the beginning of it, introduction. It's a tactical level simulation of first battles of the planet of Osgorth. And then they have a whole compendium, it looks like, after the manual that explains the history of Osgorth. The game's designed for 2 players, and you can also play against a computer if you're by yourself. Looks like there's 2 different maps. We've got strategic and tactical for play. Yeah, the hex grids are drawn if you're playing on the strategic map. And then they have victory conditions, how to start the game, how to save the game. And then here's what's new, the rapid-fire game system. The Shattered Alliance is the beginning of a revolution in computer game design. SSI's new real-time game system, Rapid Fire, brings you an interactive game which is versatile yet easy to play. Let's look at the heart of Rapid Fire, the movement system. So the way this game is played, it looks like individual units move each game turn, and you can take a single unit and decide where you want it to move on the hex grid, but it's also being played in real time, I think, or it's counting down. So it's not necessarily a real time strategy game. It's still turn-based, but they have a timer, so it's made to use some kind of reflexes to get things quick. I don't know how quick it'll be on Apple II. We'll see about that. So here we go, the Chronicles of Osgorth. The introduction to the turbulent history of Osgorth, located in the Andromeda Galaxy. Man, the lore of the video games has getting more and more complex as we move on. If you think about it, the very first RPG we played was had 1 page of lore, and that was it. And now we have manuals that are novels of lore of these video games. So there you go. It's giving us some backstory. We'll breeze by that one. And then it has game display. There you go. There's our units. We have different tribes, classes of units in this game. And then for screen display, they have the different ways you can see the strategic map And then the movement guide, it's showing you how the commands to move. A is the movement guide, B is the time counter, C, D, is that referencing something else? Okay, I think it's your commands that you can give for all the different units. Yes, keep your eye on. we always see the ad for keep your eye on GPI, and now we have SSI. And then they even have definitions for the game. There's an example of the simulated display and strategic map shown of what the game is like. And then they also have, here we go, the command chart, how to move everything. So we got during your turn, H, M, and E is how you can use your keys. S is for spells. A is for combat, to attack. F for fire. And then how to move your units, because you're basically commanding lots of different units. You can move them, and then if you have a movement left, you can attack with them. And so they explain the rules of the game, combat, melee combat, so much information in this one. This one's a really, really complex tactical strategy game that the first fantasy tactical strategy game of this breadth that we've played on the channel. And then they have rules of the game and morale for the game, different troop types, infantry, cavalry. Look at all the, and then how you play by yourself if you don't have someone else to play with. And then after that, it goes from that to the lore, which is, everything we've seen up to this point was probably a third of the manual, and the rest of it is just the lore of Osgorth. That's how deep it is. Already in 1981, we have games like that. All right, so let's see what happens when we pop it in. It is September 10th, 1981, and this is The Chronicles of Osgorth, The Shattered Alliance by SSI. Strategic Simulations Incorporated presents. This probably isn't going to be controlled at all with a joystick, so I'm putting my joystick down and going all keyboard, and let's speed it up. Oh, there we go. It came right up for us. Nice. All right, so it's asking us, we can play the introductory scenario, play a new game, play a game you've saved, create a new scenario, watch the demonstration game, the tribe and symbol explanations, and then read the oh my gosh, so they have so many different options already for us. Just for fun, let's watch and see the computer play the game, because I want to see the speed and how fast this goes. If we were to play a one-player game, I want to know what would happen and how long it would take. So here we go. It's loading up a program and showing the total number of warriors on each side. Lots of this is an example of wizards. And then, is this me to go? I'll hit return on this one, because now I think it's booting up or loading a demonstration sequence. If you had a buddy to play with, this would have been a fun game if you enjoy Risk or large board games, because the computer's going to do all the calculations for you. Back in 1981, if you had someone else that was into it, this would be a good time. If you had someone else that was into it. All right, so let's fast forward. Let's see if we can crank it up. There we go. So I'm going really fast with the order of things. And you can see down at the bottom, it's two computers making their move. So they're actually thinking of how they want to move their units. But the view we have, this isn't the strategic view. That'd be the hex grid. And it's the same graphics we've seen from the other SSI games. Thinking specifically of Napoleon that we saw, I think, last year. So the graphics are around the same, but they're adding more complexity with being able to move individual units and how you move them and how you attack. And then you can see it's playing in front of us how the game is run. And this would be a game that would take a while to get used to practice, because you'd have to know what commands to type on the keyboard. But it's a turn-based game, so you do your turn, finish everything, and then whoever else wants to jump in can play next. Yeah, it's making the moves. It's not taking as long as I thought. It's actually going pretty quick for a computer. When we last saw SSI, the movement of the troops and how you wanted to move, make decisions in the game, it took a little bit of time. And we've seen other games on the Apple II that are like that, where you're wanting to move a character from one place to another, and sometimes even one movement can take 2 or 3 seconds, which nowadays that's pretty unnerving. Back in 1981, maybe they had more patience, or maybe they understood, wow, it's a computer thinking so much behind the scenes, so we should give it some time. I know for PCs that I had, I would load a game or load a level, and while the level was loading, I'd go make a sandwich and then come back, and then after I would eating my sandwich, then the level was loaded, and then I could play the game. So I know at the time I never thought of it, how long it took to load. That's how it was. All right, so there's an example of the game playing itself. There's so much more we can go into this one. This is another game I would love to take a look further and play even longer to see how complex it does go. We saw how detailed the manual is with the lore, but this is one of the best tactical strategy games you could play, especially if you're a fantasy fan. So we're going to go 4.5 stars for this one. This one is the best for SSI, and it's also one of the benchmarks for whenever they get the license for Advanced Dungeons & Dragons. So there you go, 4.5 stars for The Shattered Alliance. After that one, a massive, massive game. Let's see what our next game is. This is Taxman, also for the Apple II. So many releases for the Apple II lately. 1981, we already know Apple II is the most popular computer, or selling the most right now, but man, they have a ton of releases for us. Let's take a look at their artwork for Taxman. Taxman, it's Pac-Man, the definitive version of the popular game, doesn't even say the name on the front of the box, with a free mini program by HAL Labs. HAL, no way, it can't be the same HAL. HAL, of course, does Kirby, for Nintendo. They eventually merged with Nintendo, and then they did Super Smash Brothers, one of the modern video games. So it can't be the same HAL. It's got to be a different one. But looks like a pretty faithful recreation of Pac-Man. We got different alternate versions. Let's check it out. Here we go. September 11th, 1981, and this is Taxman. Not to be confused with another character that's yellow and a circle. This is a totally different one. Programmable Taxman. I hope I loaded the right one. Oh, okay, which controls do you want? Oh my gosh. Semicolon, left, right, and... Actually, the top one is how they would control for a home computer in the UK. I'll try the IJKM, so we'll do that one. So if you look down at your keyboard, I don't know if you have one in front of you, this is like a really squished down WSAD control, which is kind of interesting. So we definitely want color on this. HAL Labs. No, it's not the same HAL. They have an acronym there. All right, checking out Taxman for the Apple II, because we're playing every video game. Look at the character nicknames. Fusor, Redjack, Gollum, and Snugpuff. Doing the same tropes they did with Pac-Man, giving them nicknames afterwards. Not Snugpuff. Oh, Snugpuff's a girl. It's Sheila. All right, so here we go. The game is in attract mode. Yeah, I'm not doing anything now. Let's see what happens if... How do we start this sucker up? Yeah, it's not me. I want to get going. How do you start? Shift? Yeah, it's on game over. We want to play. I'm just trying different keys right now on the keyboard to see which one is the getting out of attract mode and actually starting the game. S1, 2, F1, escape, break, tab. Oh, I did it. It was C. Of course it was C. How many players do you want? 1. Press return to play or go back to demo. No, we want to go back. We don't want to go back to the demo. Let's go. All right, so I'm using the keyboard only to control. We got the sound effects from the arcade as little blips. And I'm guessing it's Taxman, so we're picking up coins on the ground. This is a really good recreation of Pac-Man so far. Anyone actually at the time that you could play would be really good because there isn't an official port of Pac-Man yet. Right now I think they're still fighting over the licenses. So Taxman would be a great way to check out Pac-Man for your Apple II. The other one we played before was Gobbler by Online Systems. And that one was pretty good. It didn't have as good of AI. This one actually is really a lot closer to Pac-Man. At least playing a lot closer. And it's not overbearing with the sound that we've seen on Apple II. Yeah, this one is very good. Not using the Apple joystick, though. So keyboard only, but still controls and plays really well. The big one, I'd say the difference between the two is, look at the ghosts. They're really close to the arcade. I'm trying to see if they have different artificial intelligence like the original Pac-Man. And is it the same map every time? It is. Okay, yeah, just like Pac-Man. Got to get these taxes taken care of. What's interesting is there's a game coming out for Atari VCS called Tax Avoiders. that is a terrible game for the VCS. And so why call the game Taxman? No one would buy this. If they knew it was Pac-Man, they should have named it something closer, but I don't know. Taxman is a terrible name for the title of a game. But for a Pac-Man clone, that is awesome. One of the best ones we've seen of a way you could play Pac-Man at home. And keep in mind, as far as consoles go, we haven't seen anything. Nothing has come... Well, let me think. If we think... No, as far as console, no. It's only been computers we've seen Pac-Man clones. Oh, the best one? Yeah, I would say so, too. This one looks and plays really close to the arcade. Very well done for Hal that did this. So I'm going to go ahead and do 4 stars. I don't know if I want to go higher because it is a ripoff, but it's still... yeah, I'll go 4. It's a very good game to play for the home computer, for the Apple II, if you want to play Pac-Man, for sure. All right, so Taxman, much better than Gobbler, I'd give it that. All right, so after that, let's move on to our next one. Okay, our next one is the first issue of Softline. This is an Apple II magazine, and we've already checked out Atari magazines. This is the very first issue of one of the first Apple II magazines, at least to my knowledge. And the front is, yeah, this is a September release of Softline. Look how happy he is for his Apple II. Oh, he's just so excited. Look at that. Inside the Apple II graphics. And there it is, the Apple II with the pen you can use to draw for the Apple II. That's pretty cool. All right, so as we scroll through, we got a cool ad for Ulysses and the Golden Fleece online systems. Oh, this is the high-res adventure number 4. We haven't seen it yet. It looks like it's available or pretty close around the time. So there's the ad for the latest high-res adventure by Online Systems, and we'll breeze through the table of contents because we're going to be checking out just little bits and pieces of the magazine. There's the editor column. Oh, something to point out here. If you look over on the left, the publishing associate is Ken Williams, the same Ken Williams that is the owner of Online Systems, eventually into Sierra Online. So they're going to have a lot of stuff with Apple II and Online Systems here. You can see the first big ad, the full page, was Online Systems. There it is, the Pro Paddles for your Apple II. Got to get those by Rainbow Computer. And then High Tech Type. This is about the micro modem revolution and a few things about just latest news. Nothing too big there. And then here we go, another ad by Online Systems. This is their Superscribe 2 software. They're going to be selling so many different things or ads for these. Save time, money, and headaches. Yes, you want to get this software. It's the best one for your Apple II. So scrolling through this is different information on that. And then, oh, here we go. We have an ad for Soft Porn Adventure. That's right, for adults only. One of the games that came out for the Apple II, and this will be the first time that we've ever seen a video game that is controversial for adult, like sexual purposes. Everything else we've seen for controversy has been violence or blood, gore, and so forth. But the front of the box is a cameo right up there above my shoulder of Roberta Williams. She's on the front of the box. This game we haven't seen yet on the channel, but it's not something we're going to be showcasing, obviously, for the content. But it's a text-only game that is meant to be like the precursor to Leisure Suit Larry. Kind of like the losers that are in bars that are trying to hook up with ladies, and you're supposed to make decisions on what you say to a girl or not say to a girl. That's kind of what the game is about. But we haven't seen it yet. It's coming up. It's like opening the floodgates to all the other really smut-based video games, which not looking forward to that. And that's one reason why we're not going to be showcasing all of those types of games. And then right after Roberta Williams on the front of a Soft Porn Adventure, we have an article by her husband, Ken Williams. So in the same magazine, this is his article on Apple II graphics, explaining how they work and giving more details on it. And then after that, as we scroll down, we got special effects. Okay, different ways you can do the graphics for the Apple II. And you can see here they've given ad space to other companies, like on the far left, it's Penguin Software. We've seen a few titles from them. And there you go, Pegasus 2, which we played a few episodes ago for the Apple II. Another ad for that one. And as we go down here, this is assembly language using Lisa 2.5. And then I think Ken talks about this one here as well. So many defunct programming languages and ways to use computers that's gone to the wayside because at this point it's the Wild West of computing and video games. There's so many different things out there on the market that it's hard to tell what's going to be the popular one or not. Like at this point, Microsoft really isn't big. They're not. They're just lumped in the pie with all the other ones out there. Commodore, Amstrad's there, and then in the UK they start doing their own things as well. Okay, so this one is learning and education. We'll breeze by that one. And then let's see, this is more information on Sierra Online, like them doing an excursion. There it is, online systems, and then an ad for their high-res adventures that we've seen. High-res Adventure Zero, Mystery House, and Wizard of the Princess. Some of the most popular graphic adventure games for the time. And then as we scroll down, let's go through, they have software reviews. Here we go. The big one. On the top left, Ultima by Lord British. They have a review for that game, which we haven't seen yet. It's coming, though. It'll be this year. And then we also have Sneakers, another game that I think is this year, or we should see this one for the Apple II. And then we have an ad for online systems, high-res football and soccer. And as we scroll down, going through, okay, The Prisoner, we haven't seen that one yet, but we will see that one. Sabotage, same one, another one that's we'll look forward to for the Apple II. And then we have more information on the Apple graphics for all those that were really wanting to program for their Apple II. This is a great magazine to have to know exactly what you can do for your system. Yeah, BASIC was a big one. Since I've done the channel, I've learned programming languages I never knew existed to do computers. There's one coming up next year in the UK called the Jupyter Ace that uses a programming language called Forth. I've never even heard of that. I had no idea what it was. And then we have an ad for Missile Defense, which I believe we played that one, yeah, by Online Systems. And then scrolling through, after all the coding information, we have anything else? Yeah, they're going through a lot for how to program for your Apple II. And there it is, the Interactive Fantasies, which we saw some work by them for the Apple II. And then just a few ads and then price charts. This one's kind of interesting to just look at what things cost. So like Phantoms 5 over here by Sirius Software. This is Nasir Gabelli's game that we played, gave it 5 stars for a scrolling shooter back in 1979. It'd be $30 for the time, which is just fascinating. And then we have a preview for the next game that Roberta Williams and Ken Williams are working on. This is Time Zone, which I think is High-Res Adventure number 5. I'm not sure, but we will see that one. They say it's going to be 1982 when it comes out. So another preview for that. And then, is this really? No way, they have high score. They got a high score chart here. That's awesome. Oh, no way. Look who's on the high score chart for Sabotage. Steve Wozniak is here. That's too crazy. It's got to be the same Steve. No one else is getting high scores like him. That's awesome. All right, so for the end of it, I believe that's, just a few ads here at the back. And there we go. So that was the very first issue of Softline, our first Apple II magazine we've checked out on the channel. Oh, of course someone in the chat knew what Forth was. Yeah, I had no idea. There's a lot of programming languages that aren't as popular nowadays. All right, so after Softline, a good preview of what the Apple II is going to be like in 1981 and 82, let's go on to our next game. Oh my gosh. Here we go, another massive one. This is the night of the big games. This is Wizardry, the first Wizardry, the famous Wizardry, Proving Grounds of the Mad Overlord for your Apple II. This is awesome. So let's take a look at the artwork for Wizardry. This game is so big because of its influence on the video game industry. Whenever Japan got a hold of this game, it was translated and put on their computers over in Japan, and the popularity inspired developers to create role-playing games and kind of streamline the process based on what Wizardry does. And this is the first one, Proving Grounds of the Mad Overlord. Oh yes, this one is epic. Oh, this one was Pascal. That's interesting. Wizardry, Proving Grounds of the Mad Overlord by Andrew Greenberg and Robert Woodhead. Yes, very popular developers of Surtech. Way to go, Andrew and Robert. And you can see this is a 5 1/4 floppy disk. This game is going to follow one other game example that we've seen for role-playing where you save your information or your characters for the role-playing game on a disk and then load it back when you play again. All right, so let's see the manual. I bet this one's going to be just as big. There we go. Wizardry, a game of fantasy and adventure. Surtech Software. There's the registration. Nice. Welcome to the world of Wizardry. Wizardry is unlike any other game you've played on your Apple II. Using all the power and sophistication of the Pascal language, we've been able to create the most challenging fantasy war game available for any personal computer. Wizardry is a huge program. 14,000 lines of code. Sounds meager nowadays. It may be the largest single microcomputer game ever created. The entire Wizardry game system, including the programs used to create the extensive Wizardry databases, comprises almost 25,000 lines of code and is the result of over 1 man-year of intensive effort. The result is a game that could simply not have been written in BASIC. Wizardry has too many options and is so flexible that the only limits to the game are your imagination and ingenuity. Kind of like Dungeons & Dragons for all the D&D fans. Very briefly, Wizardry lets you create and control a number of adventurers who go off on expeditions in search of loot and glory. The more successful a character or group is, the more powerful they become. Each character is specialized. Some are good fighters, some can cast magical spells of many types, and some are good at defeating the many traps that guard the goodies. So they're taking the Dungeons & Dragons formula and adding also the like Colossal Cave Adventure. You go and collect your treasures, and then you come back. So this one can be played with 1 to 6 players, and there's even scenarios you can play. And that's kind of what the next releases of Wizardry are. They're another scenario. We might consider it DLC nowadays, but it allowed you to save the same character you had for the first Wizardry, and then use that character or party on all the other Wizardries. And for a gaming historian, before I did this channel, I thought the first 2 big role-playing games ever were Wizardry and Ultima. That's where I thought it started. But now, since we began all the way back in 1971, I was way wrong and have learned there's a lot more out there. And this is taking a formula we've seen from other role-playing games, and now we're cranking it up a big notch. So here we go. Lots of stuff here in this one about how to play. Yeah, we got different features. Oh, this is cool. This shows why Wizardry is better than the others. It's multiplayer. We can play 6 people, and 20 people can be saved on a disc. They have a whole castle that you start in that has a tavern, hotel, temple, and trading post, and then you have specialized characters. They have 5 races, 8 classes, 50 different spells are in this game. Hundreds of magical items are here. Hundreds of monsters are here. They got a giant bestiary for Wizardry. The 3D maze is played out just like a Calibeth in a smaller viewport. It's kind of in the top left corner. We'll see when we boot it up. Well, we'll see if we boot it up. And there's also specials that happen in the game. And then here we go. This is important. Booting on the correct side. I am familiar with Wizardry because of its popularity, and I played it in the past. Not on an original Apple II, but so I kind of remember how the discs work. We'll see how well it plays this time, though. Yeah, so it's showing you how to start the game here. You should, and we'll refer back to this one when we get to that point. So we'll look at the manual when we need to. This is it. This is a big one. This one is, really want to see this compared to the other role-playing games we've been seeing on the channel. So for different versions, we have an 80-column version and a 40-column one. Let's try the 80-column and see if that one comes up. It is September 13th, 1981, and this is the biggest release of role-playing so far. I'd say right after a Calibeth, Wizardry is huge. The first Wizardry. So right on boot up, let's speed it up. Prepare yourself for the ultimate in fantasy adventure. They got a cool splash screen here. Oh, look at that presentation, too. No sound, but still, it's awesome. Excellent. And then right after that, we push enter. So we got that. I'm going to go through and fast forward again. Still nothing. I know it's a big game. We just heard about how large it is, but it shouldn't take this long, even running 600% faster than the original. Yeah, it's not going to work there. So let's try, sadly, we'll try the 40-column mode. I really wanted to play it in 80-column, though. All right, so here we go. Booting up again, Wizardry for all the Apple computers that only can play 40-column mode. So same as before, let's speed it up. Yes. And skip the intro. There we go. Yes. So we have start game, utilities, title page. Let's go ahead and start. I don't know for sure exactly how this is going to go because this is pretty in-depth. There's one other role-playing game we played that did... Oh, yeah, we got to switch it out. The disc, where you could save your characters and then come back to it. And so this is the second game we've seen on the show. And for this one... Okay, here we go. So what you got to do is you put in this master disc, but you have to make sure you make it read right because you're going to be saving characters to it. All right, so after that, the master disc is in drive 1, and then the duplicate should be it. Let's see. We got it. Okay, so we got the first part. We're currently in the castle, and from here, it's kind of like the town. We have an inn here. We have the tavern, the trading post, the temple of Kant, and then we have the edge of town. So if we go out of the town, and we leave, and we go to the edge of town, then it's going to say you can go to the training grounds, return to the castle, or leave the game. So we're going to do training grounds because the training grounds is where you create and train a character. So we go to the training ground, and it says you may enter a character, inspect or edit, and roster. Now, just for fun, because this is taken from archive.org, I want to see if this disc has someone else on it. So if we put in roster, is there anyone else here? No. Okay. There's no one here, just to see if someone saved it on there. Okay, so let's put some people in here. Let's do KC Club Kirby. How big can it go? I'm going to put people in the chat as characters in the party. That character does not exist. Do you want to create it? Yes, yes, we do. Whoa, I forgot about the password. So you got to put a password for your character, because if you have it saved on a disc and you want no one else to be using your role-playing character, you put a password in. We'll make a super secret one like 11. And then you have to enter it again to be sure. Oh my gosh. Password protected. Wizardry. Then you choose a race. Let's make KC Club Kirby a Hobbit. And what alignment? They're going to be good. Hobbits are always good. And then you can switch out scores for different things here. So let's make the Hobbit really, really pious. So if we go to that and then go to, okay, plus or minus. So we'll just keep cranking it up. And okay, if you make it really pious, then you have a choice to be a priest, it looks like. So now you choose the class. Because we only did piety, we pick priest. And then you want to keep it? Yes. Okay, so we have one character now that we've created, and we have someone else here. We have L. Curtis B. And that'll be our next character that we're creating. It's going to say the same thing. No, it does not exist. Let's create it. Password, super secret one. Does it let it do 1-1 again? So tell everybody the super secret wizardry password. Let's make L. Curtis B a human. And alignment. Let's make him neutral. And for this one, let's give him lots of luck. So if we go down to luck, let's just crank up. And you can switch different ones out, like put... oh, can we not pick any? Hold on, let me pick something else. Let's do IQ, because it looks like if we do just luck, we don't get anything out of it. All right, got it. Oh, no, it won't. Yeah, it won't let us do just that. So here, let's change it up. And go vitality, maybe? Oh, we made him too lucky, I guess. It won't work. Let's do that. More intelligence. Okay, there you go. So we can make him a mage. And then after that, it's going to ask what class. So we make mage. Keep the character. Yes. So the beginning of the game is when you're setting everything up. There's lots of menus, obviously. And then the last one we'll do is me. I'll make Chrono. And let's go. Which character does not exist? Yes, we want to create Chrono. And then a password, my super secret password, 11. That's so crazy. They have you enter it again. That's the first time we've ever seen that. So choose race. Let's make Chrono an elf. Let's make him evil. An evil elf. And just crank up the strength. Really big, yeah. All the way. There it is. And then after we cranked it, oh, maybe too much. And then after that, we'll choose the class. Yes. Now, I'd be really disappointed. We played role-playing games on the channel where we do all this, and then the game boots up, and then it just crashes. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen. All right, so now we've created all the characters. The next thing we want to do is go to the tavern, and we want to add members. So who's going to join? Let's do Chrono. Oh, gosh, you need to do the password. Hope you remembered the super secret password. And see, it adds it to the roster at the top. So we add another member, and we'll do KC Club Kirby. If I spell it right. No, I did not. It's going to be like, who? It actually did say who. Now we'll add a member. KC Club Kirby. Oh, bad oh, it didn't let KC Club Kirby come in because of bad alignment. Maybe because I'm evil? I can't have any good people in there? All right, so let's try someone else. Let's add, does neutral work? If I do L Curtis B. It did. So a good person, sorry, KC Club Kirby, you couldn't come in the party because I'm evil and you're too good. All right, so after that, we take our party. We'll just do for 2 this time. And now we have, let's go to the edge of town. So we're good there. And while we're here is where you can like buy stuff. I guess we should be doing that, right? Yeah, the trading post. So we need weapons or we're going to die. So we go to the trading post and we say who's going to enter. I'll do Chrono. Oh, we just do number 1. Nice. What do you want to buy? Let's buy something. You can buy, sell, uncurse yourself. Lots of options there. So you could purchase things. Let's do long sword. Just make it easy. We'll do P for purchase. Which item? Long sword. So this has far more complexity than other role-playing games, obviously, with the options here in the beginning. And then we're going to go ahead and leave. Oh, can I do it for... No, I have to pick someone else. Because that's what just Chrono bought. And then if I say he leaves, and then who's going to enter? Now I can do L Curtis B. Oh. Who will enter 2? There we go. And then we do buy something. And we'll give the short sword, go P for purchase, purchase the short sword. Unusable. Oh, so you won't be able to use it, so no. We all make mistakes. All right, we'll just go ahead and leave. We'll get on to the main game so you can see what it looks like. And I just want to see if it works. All right, so we'll leave there, enter the trading post, and then we exit the trading post. So after we did that, now we enter the edge of town, and then from here we can go to the maze, go back to the castle where we were, but we're going to do maze. So here we go, entering the proving grounds of the Mad Overlord. Our first time checking out and playing Wizardry. Lots of menus, lots of options. The customization is real, especially for those that have played real Dungeons & Dragons. It's a lot of info. So after that, it's asking if we can reorder, equip, dismantle. Let's go ahead and equip. Get that sword going. Yes. Which one? We want the only one. And then equipped that one, and then let's leave. Right? Yes. Okay. We're leaving the camp. There we go. So this is the main screen, and we are now in the maze. So where we're standing, it shows we're standing over stairs because we went down into the dungeon. And then the first-person view is in the top left corner, kind of like a Calibet. I kind of prefer a Calibet, the full screen first-person view. But you can see here it gives all the information of the characters, and then it has even the commands at the top. So, wait a second. AWD? No way. So on the keyboard, it has forward, left, and right using F, L, and R, but then it has AWD, so I can go... Does it work? Oh, no, I want to say no. I don't want to go up the stairs. So now I said no to the stairs, but now... Wow, it's using the controls of AWSD. Not S, but it's using AW&D. Move forward. Yes, D turns. Oh my gosh. Wizardry is using WSAD. It's using that to move. So I'm moving forward using W. And then to turn, I'm using D. I can't believe it's that early that we're using WSAD for a game. That's crazy. Okay, so I'm just making my way around the maze. At this point, I probably would want to... Oh, I tried to walk into the door and it says, ouch. I guess I kick. Let's kick the door open. Oh, and we are in a room, and now we have an encounter, and it shows the enemy we're fighting. You surprise the monsters, which is always good when in a role-playing game. And so Chrono gets to go first. I can choose these options. I'm going to go for fight, and then L Curtis B. I don't think we have any magic spells. We'll do parry, and then press return or redo. And so this is how the game acts out. Chrono chops at the skeleton, and it shows the stats, or shows what's happening. And so we got Chrono's options. We fight, and then let's have L Curtis B fight. I don't even know if he can. We didn't get a weapon, so he might punch. Yeah, it just says he thrusts at the skeleton. And then it gives us what's happening to the battle. There you go. We killed the monster. Everyone gets 230 experience points, and we found a chest. We can choose to open it. Calfo? I don't know what Calfo is. Inspect it. Oh, so it might have problems. Let's do an inspect first. Who will inspect it? Oh, so it depends on what kind of stats you got. Let's do L. Curtis B. Oh, that's right, 2. No, I don't want to cast Calfo. No, I want to inspect. There. I got to push 2. I don't have to type the whole name in. Oops, a poison needle. Uh-oh. Does that mean L. Curtis B is poisoned? Each share is worth 45 gold pieces. So we still got the gold, but sadly, L. Curtis B is poisoned. And, oh, what? I thought I kicked the door down. I tried to walk into it and it says ouch, so we'll kick it open again. Going down the hallway. And no, L. Curtis B died from poison. It looked down in the bottom right. He's now dead. I'm so sorry. I don't think we brought any antidotes. So I'm here at the end. Let's kick that door open. And we're continuing on. You can see how they display the maze. It's not drawing that far ahead. But this is still a game you would need to have... Oh, wait. Large sign on the wall reads, corridor out of limits, turn back. Well, let's go. I'm going in. You killed L. Curtis B. All right, we're kicking it in. Going. Moving forward, and this would be how you play the dungeon crawler, similar to how we played with a Calibeth, but a lot more options and a lot more involvement with how it works. So going forward again, we're going deep. I'm kicking every door down now. Looks like I am... Oh, I'm in a small room. So, yeah, there's nothing that happens from here. And kick it open. Yeah, so nothing there, but it looks like they're doing the random encounters. In Calibeth, we would see the enemy down the hallway, and we could decide whether we want to engage or not. But that is kind of how the game works and how the game plays. A very classic Dungeons & Dragons game, and one of the most influential video games, especially for role-playing at the time. I wish we got the 80 column mode to work, because it does look a little sharper than what we saw, but it's essentially the same thing. So in my book, that is definitely a 5-star game, one of the best role-playing games you could play up to this point, and something so influential to the video game industry. It's a 5. So cool that we got to Wizardry. I can't believe it, which means Ultima's somewhere. It's got to be close, because if this is September, we're nearing the end of the year, and I forget exactly when it was released. Okay, so after Wizardry, whatever could be next? Oh, cool. Okay, so we're on the TRS-80 color computer now, and this is Pac-Tac, which means, are we doing 2 Pac-Man clones in the same episode? That'd be awesome. Let's take a look at the artwork for Pac-Tac. We have no box. It's Pac-Man. It's Pac-Tac for the TRS-80. Coco. Let's pop it and see. Which means it's September 15th, 1981. And this is Pac-Tac. All right, so like usual, we type in, we're running this off of disk from our Coco. And it looks like it's load M Pac-Tac. What is, oh, that's not the right one. What would it be? There it is. I don't know if you can hear in the background, there's a very slight disc sound that they're emulating for us to give us the full experience. Yes, we got it. Pac-Tac. Look at that guy. This one they're named Huey, Dewey, and Louie. We have an apple kind of bit in the side, and then we got they have the power pellets too for this one. Awesome. This is pretty cool. The beginning of the game is not controlled with the keyboard. I actually got to start it using the joystick for the Coco. Let's just go balls to the wall. We're going tough. It said bad news. All right, so here we go. We're playing Pac-Tac for the Coco. Now, I wonder what's up with the graphics, because we know the Coco can display higher resolution than this, but it looks like we're playing on something with... No. It looks like we're playing on something blown up. Oh, he got me. It was too tough. Nice. Got the power pellet. Yeah, I wonder why it's so blown up. It looks like we're zoomed in further than before. This is great. I love the different looking characters and the maze. Oh, no. I wasn't paying attention while I was trying to talk about it. But the overall look and feel is just like Pac-Man, or you're playing Pac-Man. All right, let's see if we can go again. Let's go easy this time. We're not going to go crazy with it. It said, ha, a rookie. We got simple sound effects. Kind of like we saw with Taxman. Every time you run over one of the pellets, it makes some noise. But I just don't get why the graphics are so zoomed in or larger. It gives the impression like we're playing with larger sprites, but the Coco could do much better. And now, because of Gobbler, I'm looking at the other ghosts to see what are the ghosts going to do while I play. Oh yeah, all the power pellets are gone already. Kind of harder to play with the joystick for the Coco because it's not digital. They have an analog. Well, I guess you could plug in the other one. Right now, the one I have is the analog controller. No, go! Alright, yeah, better AI than Gobbler. I'll give it that, because I could stay in one place moving up and down, and they wouldn't be able to get me. Alright. That is pretty cool. I know we're going to see a lot of Maze Pac-Man games. Wasn't expecting that one. Kind of cool with the, I would say, the little characters they designed as the ghosts with the giant eyeballs. That's pretty cool. All right, so for this game, this would be considered somewhere around the average range for the time. It's still a novelty because playing Pac-Man at home is still pretty cool. So I still want to give it around the average rating, considering the other games that we played up to this point. Yeah, I'm thinking 3 stars for Pac-Tac, mainly because of I'm not going to go with the graphics as a fault for it. How it looks larger pixels. It's because on the channel we're going to see a lot of games that are not going to be based on the graphics. It's how fun it is and how well does it play, because it's a video game. And so this one, Taxman, I would say it's more fun to play than this one, and a little bit smoother than Pac-Tac, but still pretty cool and fun to play. Yeah. Thanks for the feedback on that one. Yeah. All right, so after Pac-Tac, let's go to our next one. It is BYTE Magazine, which means it must be October 1981. We are breezing through 81 here. Let's take a look at the latest issue of BYTE. BYTE always has something extremely technical in the computer and video game world. And let's look at the front cover of BYTE. This is the October release. There it is. Oh, they're talking about local networks. Nice. In 1981. So cool. So scrolling through a few of the ads, we got different systems. By the way, check out that. I know it's for an ultrasonic heart scan, but to buy something or a computer that could display that, it's pretty fascinating for the time. All right, so as usual, this magazine is huge, hundreds of pages long. We're just going to go through the table of contents and see what they hit on in 1981 for October. The IBM personal computer. First impressions by Phil Lemons. We saw the release of the IBM and the game that came with it, Donkey. So I'd love to hear what Phil Lemons would say about Donkey for the IBM personal computer. But he's probably going to talk to a business level, not a gaming level. Then they have Intelligent EEPROM Programmer. You can easily put together a virtual programmer for 2716 EEPROMs. They also go over low-cost network on personal computers. And the network's interesting because that's already happening in the mainframe scene. ARPANET already exists. It's already there, and there's already some personal computers that are using network, using like Telelink and your telephone to connect to other computers, so you can get information like magazines or things brought to you, but nothing large scale yet for 1981. And so having a local network in your house would be like insane to think of. So we have the tutorial part 2, graphics, indirection, and then the local area network section Possibilities for personal computers. That's crazy. The one person, one computer concept is improved with communications. Yes. And then preparing your program for publication. That's pretty cool. Checklist of professional touches that make your software sell. And then they have the software protection in the United Kingdom, because now we have computers that are being built and the same things happening in the United Kingdom with cassette tapes, how they are doing software protection over there. Then we have intelligent network software, simple implementation for multitasking. That's pretty cool. And then different algorithms for heuristic techniques, drawing with Pascal, which we just saw with Wizardry, which is funny. Evaluate your home energy efficiency, conserve with your computer, and they do get really good with the energy efficiency as time goes on for computers. And then we have versatile keyboard interface with the S1000, which is interesting. Someone on YouTube reached out to me and asked about the S1000. I'm sorry, not S1000, S100. They asked me about the S100 if I was going to be talking about, and I explained I can't do every computer. It's going to be based on what how they play the game. So that's why we kind of lumped MS-DOS in with every IBM compatible PC that we'll be playing. And then we have doing do loops. We have multiple regression on the TRS-80, bits and bytes in Pascal, Apple analog digital conversion in 27 milliseconds, and then, oh, there it is, fourth. I didn't know it was in this magazine. A fourth like threaded language. And then for reviews, we have Atari's Telelink. There we go. It's, I think, Atari's first attempt, or one of their first attempts, at telecommunications with their computer. And then we also have Radio Shack's Fortran package that's talked about there. So just a few things. The big thing is this local area networks. In 1981, it probably went over people's heads. That's too crazy to think about, at least nowadays, right? All right, so after that magazine, it's now October. Let's see our next release. We're in the arcades with the newest arcade game. This is Fitter. In 1981, playing every single video game. Let's take a look at the artwork for Fitter. It's by Taito. And we've already seen some great releases by Namco. Taito, the last one we saw, I believe, was no, that was still Namco. We've had so many good Namco releases. Taito, I can't think of the last one we played. And there's our control panel for Fitter. Got a joystick in the center. We have cube color select for the buttons. And this looks like the North American control panel by Centuri. Yeah, so it's just moving around, and then cube color select is the button. And an example of the screenshot, doing the top-down view like Pac-Man. For other versions, we have a bootleg called Roundup. But we're going to see the first release of Fitter. It's October 1981, and this is Fitter by Taito. I have some funny artwork around the outside. Not familiar with this one. I was familiar with Lock and Chase, another top-down maze game, but Fitter, not so much. Let's see what the attract mode has. It's doing the same thing as Pac-Man, showing the enemies. Here's your robot, and then, oh yeah, the bad fellows with with nicknames on the side of him. He looks a lot like Lupin from Lock and Chase. Kind of close. I wonder if this is taking from Lock and Chase more than Pac-Man. All right, let's put a coin in and see what Fitter's like. Now, we didn't get a manual, so I don't know the goal of Fitter. But I'm going to move myself around. Interesting. I'm sliding through the sides. And there's different parts of the screen that are blocked off. So I'm wondering if I'm supposed to use that to destroy the other enemies on the screen. So just to see, let's take a look here at what we have for information, because we don't have a manual for this one. And it looks like we control a robot in a maze who must change the color of the circles in the center of the screen while avoiding monsters. You collect red and white knights that walk around the maze to change your robot's color. Match the color patterns during the bonus rounds. Okay, so it's a top-down maze game where we're supposed to change the colors of the center of the screen. You pick at least one red knight and cross the center of the screen where there's a 3x3 arrangement of white discs. The player character touches one of the exterior discs, it displaces that disc, and your character appears on the other side. Barriers to these discs only allow access at certain points, and each time a disc is displaced, the barriers change positions. Okay, so there's some more information for us. You can see the white patterns in the middle. I'm going to use the color change button. No, if the enemies don't get me. Well, so far, Lock and Chase has got it for a palpable game to play as a top-down maze game. Where's my color changer? Because I want to be able to change my character color. Maybe I can pick up those pellets. Are these white? Yeah. Okay, so there's the color change. And if I go to the red guys, let's pick one of those guys up. And now if we go in, and we're trying to change them all to the same color, no way. I don't see a way we can avoid the monsters, though. Unless they're random and there's no artificial intelligence to them. But we are getting constant music in the background. Oh yeah, it is not the usual arcade game we've seen on the channel. Something that is supposed to be making you think more about like a sliding puzzle. It kind of makes me think of it's a poor man's top-down maze game. No offense to Taito. So now if we go again here, you'll see I'll push... Oh wait, I gotta move this side. There. So we got two of them, and can we push the center down? No, we cannot. So you're trying to get all the center colored in so you can go to, I'm thinking a bonus round after that. But for an arcade game I'm not familiar with, it's not a pick up and play arcade game. We actually had to look at instructions, which sometimes are displayed on the control panel. So new players to the arcade could check it out that way. So not a good showing so far. Yeah, as far as first impressions, it's not really there. So you can see it pushes me back out of the other side. And I can kind of understand the concept, but it's... the delivery is not as good. They're going for that cute little chibi look, kind of like they did with Lupin for Lock and Chase, but I don't know. We can see they also call this Roundup, so maybe it's in another locale. Fitter, I believe, is the release in Japan by Taito. So maybe if we get to the Roundup release, and it's the North America release with instructions, or maybe they change the gameplay a little bit, it might help that one. But in the meantime, that's one of the not as good arcade games we played. So yeah, I'm gonna go below average, because it's still it's not really, I wouldn't call it bad, but no wait, yeah, I'm gonna call it bad. We're calling it bad. It's 2 stars. Fitter is one of the worst arcade games we played. It's not so far down as the other ones, but I just can't, considering everything else we've seen in the golden age of arcade games, Fitter cannot cut it. So, sorry about that, Miss Taito, but you gotta up your game to catch up with Namco. Alright, so with that, we've reached the end of our evening with, sadly, a disappointing arcade game, considering all the other ones we played, but there's always going to be more, and we're going to get better and better as we move forward playing every single video game. Thanks, everybody that's checking it out on YouTube and Twitch. We will catch you next time. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we miss any games along the way. This video would not be possible without RetroArch and Launchbox. Please tell your friends there's some crazy guy out there trying to play every single video game. You can always check out Chronologically Gaming on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We will catch you next time.